Hello, happy Wednesday. It's getting really close to our winter break. So for today's async lesson, I thought I would just show you a couple of the ways you could use the fraction tool in order to prepare for work in January. So to get started, I thought I'd have you check in with this statement and think about, who do you connect with today? You see, there's a couple of people you might recognize that you might have seen in the news or talked about at school. And so just zoom in on one of them. Their names are up there. And down below, you see some of the things they stood for in their life or stand for in their life currently. And just based on how you're feeling today, is there someone you might connect with? Or is there someone you're interested in learning more about, which you could by Googling them and seeing how they've made lives of themselves and others, the impact they've had on them and what they've done with their life might be really interesting. But what I would like you to do is focus on this prompt, and you can use this at home with your family. You can do whatever you want. I'd be interested to see how people in your family would react to some of these folks and think about how they connect to them. But if you could just think in your head, I recognize Robin Williams and Greta Thunberg, and I connect with the phrase, be kind to yourself. I'm kind of feeling that today. Be kind to yourself and be kind to the environment. But it's possible you connect with some other folks. John Lewis, some days for me, is someone who I connect with because he says, be good trouble. Don't sit around and let people just kind of do things that are not right, but in a good way, cause a little trouble when things need to change. You choose who you might connect with and the phrase you might connect with, and go ahead and just for interest, if you want to share with your family, you may. All right, let's get started. So I have here for you some directions about how to utilize the fraction tool on our district website. Okay, so the first thing you do is you open the district website. Okay, I'm going to do that. You should recognize this, right? You should probably have seen this before once in your life, I hope, especially with all the news about COVID, etc. All right, so we are going to zero in on this site right here. That's where we're going to go. All of this, your math tools, are found on the MV Tech Smart Digital Literacy link, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, open it up. And again, you will see that right up here, it says grades 3-5, resources for grades 3-5, which is you, as you are fifth graders. Actually, I use them because some of them are super helpful. You might use them next year as well. Okay. So I go ahead and click on that link. And when I do, I bring up all the tech resources the district has thought people should have access to. We've got some math. We've got some literacy, which you probably use. We've got some Google sites that are super helpful. All right. And then we also have some research pages and some content pages that you might need. Okay. You've probably used some of these in your school day. All right. Let's go back to the math. And I'm going to click right here. The one resource that you're going to want is right here. And it's the fraction tool. You have used this one recently. We have used this one for multiplication as well, for the partial product finder. And a lot of these you might want to investigate. I really like the Numberline site as well. Okay, so let's give this one a go. We'll get on this fraction site. And I want to show you some of the things you can do. Very important is for you to just kind of play around with what all these tools are on this bar here. The ones that I'm going to talk about today are this geometric representation you can make. So if I want to divide something into 5 parts, I want to have fifths. And maybe I want to fill in 4 of them. Oh, excuse me, I don't want to do that. If I have 5 parts, let's look at that, okay? This is for the denominators. That was my bad. And now I use the little raindrop down here to determine what color I want to fill my fraction bars in. Like how many of the unit fractions do I want to fill? How many fifths do I want to fill? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. And I think I want to color in 4 fifths. Okay. So I do that. And then I say, I also want to write that fraction 4 fifths. Or I want to click on this little key down here, which will automatically label that as 4 fifths. I can do that another way, and I can write 4 divided by 5, because that's what really 4 fifths is. And I also get a fractional amount. So either way, you can write 4 fifths, okay? So let's try a couple of others. Let's say I want to talk about eighths, okay? So there, because my labeler is on, I see right now I have 0/8. Now 0/8 is an interesting number, an interesting fraction. That pretty much equals 0. Nothing is filled in, so I have a 0. So here's what you might find interesting. 0 divided by 8, or 0/8, is equal to 0. So I'm just going to put that there. And that is true, which also means that 0/10 or 0/5 is equal to 0 because nothing is filled in. There's not even 1/8 filled in. So I can make 0 another way. I can say, thirds, okay, and guess what's happening? It's the same size and shape, which is important, but it's also 0/3. So that's some way you can make some fractions. Let's try this. Let's make eighths this time, okay? And let's make 4/8. Okay. So I'm going to shade in 4 of them. Okay, good. So I'm going to move that over. All right, and then I'm like, I wonder if I divide something into fourths, if I can make something that's equal to 4/8. So let's try that. Put that up here. Right? And I am going to see something very interesting. These lines line up pretty closely, if you see what I mean. So if I can fill in a different color, of course, 2/4, what do I notice? 2/4 is equivalent to 4/8. They take up the same area in the same size fractional representation of 1, because remember, I'll do that again too. I do this, and I fill in every one of them. Let's get another color. Let's do blue. If I fill in every one of them, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. 8/8 equals 1 because I filled in all of them. I filled in the whole shape of it. And one whole rectangle is filled. So that means, interestingly enough, that 8 divided by 8 equals 1 whole. All right, and that's another really important fact. And what works for 8/8 is going to work for 5/5, is going to work for 10/10. If you fill in all the unit fractions of 1 whole, then you have 1. So anyway, this tool can do a lot for you. The last thing I want to show you is this little arrow down here, and I am going to circle that so you can see it. And that enables you to share what you have on this page. So you can save or copy an image, and you can paste it on a Google Doc or a Google slide, or you can email it to me. And I'm going to ask you to do that when I get back here in my PowerPoint. You'll notice the directions, again, are here for you. Okay, first go to the website and look for the MV Tech Smart link on the left here, fourth one. Once you get to the link, you click that 3-5 resources. We talked about that. And then once you get there, you choose the fraction tool. Okay. And the fraction tool helps you do a lot of things. So here's the link for it. You can link it here or off the website if you follow the directions on the previous slides. You could do things like this, make fractional representations. Okay, and that's all I want you to do is just to play around with it so that you're ready to use it when you come back in January. Likewise, you can watch a video on that, or you can link to the site again. And lastly, this is your exit slip. This is what I want you to do. So I want you to create at least 3 fractions out of these. You have a half, 3/4, 5/6, 3/8. That's fine. So show those fractions. I put 4 here. 3 is good, 4 is good, either way. Then I want you to make 0/9. Show me what that looks like, because we know 0/9 is another way of writing 0. And then your challenge is, for those of you who want to take a challenge, is how would you show 11/4? Do your best. Think about it, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. And I would like you then to take a picture of it and either save it on your slide with your name on it, or go ahead and send it to me at mhuggins@mbsd.org. Okay, thanks very much, and I will see you tomorrow.